Right, ladies and gentlemen. Probably one of the most interesting days we have had ever in the silver market. We talked about that whole 78 ratio thing, breaking down what happened. We gotta look into that. They are doing whatever they can in order to not make this happen, but it will. And today we had a fan issue, whatever, down in Cyprus. Potential, well, according to them, controlling the only server they have for their entire futures market, controlling trillions and trillions of trading every single day, basically. And they have one tiny, you know, computer controlling that whole thing. Apparently, right? They have a fan. It broke down, cooling. And when did it happen? It happened again. In my view, things like this doesn't happen by coincidence. It's impossible. The timing of it, it's just you can't write that script. Basically, you just can't write that script. It's just too. Again, it's too. Again, probability-wise, as you know, we talk about it every. It's just too low. It can't happen. Let's dive in here. We have a clean canvas. We're gonna dive into silver and the ratio. Gold, of course, platinum as well, palladium. It's just getting started, guys. For silver, we're gonna go way back. We're gonna go into closer to where we are today, and we're gonna look into the very small time frames, stating on Twitter that we are gonna have a tiny cup and handle play, like a 1 month long cup and handle play, springing the 45-year cup and handle. Isn't it lovely? Let's dive in here, guys. Let's see what we can do. And there we are. So silver, right? Cool. Let's do some short term. I think we're gonna do it reverse this time. We're gonna look at very short term stuff here. Up 5.6% today, 6.6 on the futures market. Before we dive into the price action, let's look what happened during the hours that were. It basically started it late during the Asian session. You can see here, you can't see it, but actually in here we had no trading on the futures price. So let's go to the futures price, which is here, the silver one. You can see here, when do we have it going back? Here, this is my time. So basically, you can see we started to go offline, almost 4 a.m. my time. And then it didn't come back basically 12 hours later. Again, 12 hours, the timing, just as we hit the US session. Isn't it lovely? You can see here, there it is, boom, boom. Basically 12 hours later, we're back online. So again, why is this so interesting for us? Again, why does that happen? Let's go to the gold silver ratio. There it is, monthly. We're gonna zoom out. Look, this seems like a lot of gibberish, right? But what we had, technically we had it yesterday, but it for sure did confirm today. We had one of the biggest breakdown in history in the gold to silver ratio. There it is. You can see here all the way up. This is 15 years, my bad. Boom, completely smashed. And it started to really trigger, right, when we said 78, big number right here. We're gonna use a line so we can see it. There it is, 78. Anything below that line, and we are going, look at the alignment here, perfect. We're gonna have a cascading effect, boom. And then funny, the entire futures market broke down there. It was a heating system, they say. Okay. Again, some people will believe that. I don't. Again, the timing. Again, why didn't it happen over here when we all of a sudden had a liquidity crunch, right? And silver melted down like 20% in 2 days or 3 days. Why didn't it happen here? Or within all this noise here? No, it happened on the day we broke down from the level 78, which we have been talking about for a year or so, which seems to be, once we confirm this one here, we could see that, hey, 78 is the big one. So interesting as things are lining up here. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love it. Again, we treat this as one of the biggest breakdowns we have ever seen in the silver to gold ratio, or the gold to silver ratio, as you know. And this will be, again, a big moment where silver will be the better player than gold. Silver will be the better player than gold. And why is that important? It means until now, basically, people would have gone long gold. You know, they would have done the spread bet. You know, they were going long gold, short silver, long gold, short silver. Now we flip. Boom. There it is. We flip it. Boom. Silver breaking out against gold. Yes, technically we have a little bit of funky stuff up here. I know we have a, quite a big level, but that trend line is broken, and that is the start for silver to outperform gold heavily, while gold does good things. Don't get me wrong, gold will do well, but this is the key moment where we trigger, and we have been calling for this for quite a while, right? For quite a while. We're going to zoom out here, and look what this kind of gibbery thing is telling us. This breakdown here, in my view, is the start of a left shoulder, head, right shoulder breakdown later on in 2026. This means we now have a target that is roughly 60 to 65 down here. Again, this could be as early as, March, potentially. Then we will find some support. We will have a little bit of a wiggle, whatever it will do, and then boom, we're going to crash further down. This formation here, which is almost 15 years long, has a target basically hitting the lows of 2011, right? Meaning now we're sitting at, let's call it even Steven here, 75 to 1 silver ounces is needed in order to buy 1 ounce of gold. It is my projection we're going to get down to the 60, 65, stay there, wobble, and then collapse even further down, meaning in not so distant future. Again, timing, we don't know exactly when it will happen, but the measures are there for a reason. We're going to see roughly 30 to 1 silver ounces is needed. 30 silver ounces is needed for 1 gold. During this period, by the way, guys, the mining sector will be one of the best, well, if not the best place to be. More so silver miners, and yes, even the silver juniors, the pesky, everyone hates them. Those miners will do 5, 10, 20, 50x, 100x during this period here. And again, will we stop at 30 to 1? No. Again, we will probably have a big bounce, I know. But we'll probably go from 30 to potentially the lows over here, which is like 42. Again, 42, we love that number. And then we're going to come down, and we're going to have a hammered all the way down to 15 to 1 at some point in time. Again, don't take the timing of it. That's just me trying to draw stuff here. And we're going to overperform, and we're going to see single digit at some point in time. Again, will it be in 2030, 31, 28, whatever, we don't know. But that is the levels that we're going to reach at some point in time. Again, single digit. I will trade my silver into gold at some point in time. I will not wait for the single digit, because you can't. Again, this might only be a 2-day event. Once we start to get below maybe 30 to 1, down to 15 to 1, within that, whatever, zone, I will trade my silver for gold. And also this, of course, once we start to get down here, these moves down here, we will be selling into our silver miners and gold miners, taking profit, and really see our, what's it called, our wealth heavily increase. It will be volatile. It will be, something that we basically don't see very often. But it will come down there, and we will be smacked in the face multiple times with brutal pullbacks in the miners. But that is the part of the game. Nothing comes risk-free, and nothing is a safe journey. that is silver. More so the silver, the gold to silver ratio. Big event happening coincidentally on a day where the entire futures market apparently broke down. Yeah, you will do your thoughts on that and I will have mine. It is not a coincidence. Things like that, dust again, the timing, you can't make that up. You really, if I tried to, it wouldn't again. Whatever happened there was not a glitch. It was definitely something shady going on again. Just going back and look at the nickel, the whole nickel situation 2 years ago. Good. Silver, where are we? Oof. Let's zoom in here. The 2-hourly time frame. This goes back to October. We even said on the way up here, we are getting close to, a localized high. And we formed left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder breakdown, confirmation of a local top. And the miners got smoked during that period. We came back around, little round trip. What do we have here? We have the cup and handle, which you have seen me post multiple times on X, and also doing it for the YouTube stuff, and more, even more so the Substack for people. We sprung the handle, little flag here on our way out, rally to the highs, and then a lot of shady things happened here. A lot of shady stuff happened. Funny, just before the little tiny, what is that, 2-month-old cup basically broke out, and we had the bigger cup and handle also springing at that point in time. So a tiny cup and handle took out the 45-year cup and handle. Lovely. There it is. Let's zoom out. Before we go to look at the big cup and handle right here, again I will point out that personally I was saying 26, this is the start of the bigger cup and handle breakout, right? This is the bigger one. This is the handle, tiny little funky, let's call it bull flag, just on the way out, and then we left the building, right? So you saw basically the exact same, we basically saw the exact same cup and handle on a 2-month time frame, zooming out on a 45-year cup and handle, right? Similarly, we have vibes of that head and shoulder coming down. We didn't quite reach the same kind of highs, but we did have a cup and handle with a skewed, kind of like, not a neckline, but like a ceiling for the cup and handle, breaking out, boom, that was it. So 26 was our big moment, and 2026 was back in 2 years ago almost, 2024 April. And during this period here on our way up, we have done and taken some pretty big positions in silver stocks and gold stocks. Talking about Santa Cruz, by far our best call, if I'm remembering correctly, up 5, 6, 7 times. SUP up multiples. Abra up also, I think 4 or 5 times. And there's a lot of good stuff happening. MKO, AU, a ton of really good calls. Also some that were lagging a little bit. They're definitely coming to life now. So again, it's just the beginning of what is a 45-year breakout, right? So we are gonna draw kind of like an upskewed ceiling of the cup and handle. That's still totally fine. This is marking the 1980 highs, the big high back when we, during that period, we had a 10-year bull market, right? Going from basically $1 to 50 from the early the 1970s again, and then 10 years ahead. And then we made the big high over in 2011, just after the dot-com bubble here coming all the way down, right? This was the formation or the completion of the cup part of the cup and handle, and then we had a 10-year, 15-year handle part, which on a monthly candlestick time frame now, going wick to wick. So basically taking extreme outliers, you can see it here, extreme outliers in the past, and we have now broken out, boom, monthly. There it was, you can see it on the monthly. We closed about 50.8. We closed above it. We actually closed just north of 56. Monthly candlestick close above the sealing of the cup and handle. And what does this mean for us, right? Of course, everyone have seen it. We have the cup and handle, and we have done it multiple times. This will trigger us going into triple digit, and actually way into triple digits. This to me screams, hey, we're gonna run from 2 digits, which we have had for basically going a long way back. We've had 2 digits for at least 20 years. We haven't gone below 2 digits. Now we're gonna target 3 digits, 100, maybe a smidge below, but we're gonna get really close to 100. If not, we're gonna be around 100 where we make the next big high, in my view. And that is simply because if we do the not the measured move in percentage term, but in price, so the lows from the cup to the ceiling, that is $45. And again, we broke out roughly at 50. That takes us to $95 for the measured move in price, not in percentage, but in price. And also going from the big 2 digits to 3, psychologically, many people will take profit, and all that good jazz, and rightfully so, right? It's a big number. But the big one, of course, is, again, depending on how you measure, we're going to go well into triple digit. And the max greedy target is just around, 700, 600. Again, when that happens, we do not know. But that is the measured move from a 45-year cup and handle. So, and it's just getting started. Again, that was our long call, 26. And we're now basically a double from where we stand today. We could also do some trend lines here. That is what I mostly do, right? I do trend lines more often than not. So let's put that on the chart here. We're gonna go Heikin-Ashi because otherwise we can't see what is happening basically back in the 1960s and 40s and all that. We don't have that much trading, of course. So we have a very beautiful, we take the lower part here, we align ourselves, we're gonna go all the way up. Excuse me, we're gonna go all the way up here to basically hitting the lows of this bad boy here. Look at the perfect, basically a perfect trend line, or trend channel, excuse me, where we have this little wiggy here, and then we have the lower points here almost connecting, and connecting the highs there. So if we are to only go from a channel point of view, right, we're breaking now, we are targeting the upper end of it. We don't know exactly when it's gonna hit, but you can see here 3, 4, 500 is definitely in the tank for silver as we speak, right? So what a day. What an amazing day we have here. And may I remind you that this will be, for the most part of it, not always, but for the most part of it, miners is going to outperform silver and gold, right? So during this move up here, which will be extremely violent, right? We could go to like 100, we could have a huge crash down again, and then go to target again. A lot of things can happen. And it will be, as mentioned, extremely volatile. During that period, we're going to take the SIL. Yeah, we're going to take the juniors because they are actually quite a good measure to this. Divide that by silver, and what are we getting here? You can see here again. We are now on Heikin-Ashi. We're going to swift into normal candles, and you can see here like a 3-year bottom breakout backtest. Again, silver miners is going to outperform silver. And also here, I have an even better, where if we do the, what's it called? I can't remember. It's called the silver, the overall silver ETF, right? You can see here that actually we are also breaking out from a big large downtrend here all the way down, right, for the SIL divided by the metals price. So you can see here this is an 8-year breakout coming in, right, and we're gonna break out. We had a breakout, we had a back test. Therefore the silver miners is, again, for sure, when we break this stuff here, this is gonna way outperform silver as well. in most period of times. They will also underperform heavily, but the long trend is in favor of miners compared to silver, and silver will be better compared to gold. So that is very interesting. And you can also see here again we have a big level that is 1.5. Again, once we break the blue, we break that floor as well, going back at least 5, 6, 7 years in silver. I wanted to show you again, I just couldn't remember it, but this was actually the channel that I wanted to show you. Look at this. Again, beside this little thing that happened in 2020, look at where we stand. This is an 8-year channel where the miners has underperformed silver heavily. Again, it peaked out here in 2016 at almost 1 to 1. Then we came all the way back to 0.33. So it lost 66%, over that period. However, when this breaks, and we're gonna break on the 4th, 1, 2, 3, boom, 4, silver miners is going to be one of the best performing assets, in my view, looking ahead a few years time now. But it will also be, as we say on Substack, there will also be moments where we will get hit very hard in the face, and that is not pleasant, but it will happen. So I have nothing more, guys, for you other than silver has made a monthly candlestick breakout above its 45-year ceiling of one of the most bullish patterns that there basically is. So strap in, boys. It's gonna be lovely. It's gonna be painful at times, but this is a key moment for silver, and even more so the breakdown of 78. Cheers, guys. Bye.